The art community has been in a countless amount of drama, from stalkers to art thieves and much more. One of the biggest moments in the art community being in 2020, where various Twitter artists were exposed for being predators. Throughout time, I'm sure you can think of some big controversies in the art community. Kenny's art being used after her passing, the expose of Creepshow's history of harassment and stalking, and John Bob being outed as a predator are a few things that might come to mind. But with so many artists in the space, inevitably there are going to be some issues that never see the light of day. People's true colors being shown only for it to never be seen. Incidents where people were wronged and never got to prove themselves right. Entire reputations being flipped with just a little more context. So I'm going to shed some light on some lesser known controversies in the YouTube art community. Before I get into this, please know that due to the obscurity of some of these controversies, a lot of potential evidence has been removed from the internet. So there are a lot of moments that could be left up to speculation. That being said, let's get on with it. Nani was an art commentary creator that made her channel on August 5th, 2009. She made drama videos as well as animations with the occasional one-off video, which boasted her to 259,000 subscribers. At some point as early as 2 years ago, she seems to have gotten backlash for not talking about Blacktober. Blacktober is a community-driven event on social media where artists draw various characters in African American depictions. The reasoning for this backlash I was not able to find. She explained in her apology video that she felt that she wasn't the best person to talk about Blacktober since she herself wasn't a person of color, and that she was doing an art challenge which ate up most of her time.
I had seen some videos and Twitter posts about Blacktober from Black creators during this time, and I had always supported those creators, and to be honest, making a video on this topic didn't even cross my mind. As a white woman, I didn't feel as if I was qualified to speak on these issues, because I never really wanted to speak over Black voices. It's awful what happened, and I apologize for not being more vocal about the topic. I feel as if plenty of more qualified individuals spoke on this matter, and I didn't want to speak over those people.
There's also a point where she got criticism for defending a kid who was potentially racist, but there isn't much information out there about that. What I do know is that on June 7th, 2023, she privated her channel. However, someone did re-upload her apology video. She hasn't posted on her DeviantArt in a year, her Twitter is private, and her Twitch content is completely scrubbed. I'm unsure why Nani got essentially bullied off the internet for not speaking about something she didn't have to talk about. Unfortunately, it's been too long, so we may never know. Marco180 created her channel on January 30th, 2015. She makes animations structured around her story set in World War II. You can probably tell where I'm getting at. She has quite a few controversial OCs, one being a 16-year-old anthro, Markusha, who's in a relationship with another one of her OCs, Arcady, who's an adult Nazi. Might I emphasize, he also has a long nose. There's proof of this with an Instagram post of him captioned "Long Nose PDF." There's also another one that's a panel of Arcady giving Markusha a kiss while in bed. Marcus says that they're friends, but that probably isn't the case. She has two other OCs, Nikolai and Aster, Nikolai being a Soviet soldier and Aster being an Italian Nazi. There is one animation she made where they both die and it's shown to be a dramatic sad moment, which I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of funny. Marka has also made not safe for work of Arcady and Markusha, as well as incest involving two brothers. Now, I want to bring your attention to one more OC, which is a little more on the nose than the other ones. This one's nicknamed 80, who is a dragon version of Hitler. Yeah, you heard that right. There was a previous version of him who looked more like the actual H-Man with a white shirt and a flower crown as well as a gold tooth. She's made various animations of him, with one of the more popular ones being called Corn Song. There's tons of more art and animations of him, and even a makeshift plushie she made in a big expose doc. Obviously, this is incredibly controversial, so after some backlash, Marka released two apologies. The first stating how she is not a Nazi and only draws them for the look and shape. This is hard to believe, as one, that's really silly, and two, at one point, her channel's about section said that she's a Nazi, but merely a friendly one. In her second apology, she reinforced that she wasn't a Nazi, but she's still going to continue drawing them, but will wait to draw not safe for work art until she turns 18 in 2 years. It goes much deeper, going back all the way to 2019, meaning she was making this art since she was 14 years old. There's an incredibly huge expose doc that I recommend you check out. Sarah Truly, aka Hilariously Scary, created its channel on September 9th, 2012. It made art videos consisting of speed paints and discussions of its universe overseers lore, over the years growing its channel to amass over 30,000 subscribers. But on October 22nd, 2022, it outed itself as a map, a term PDFs use to try to be accepted in LGBT plus spaces. It then made a Tumblr post talking about it as well as more posts answering questions anybody had. The list of questions, however, is a mixed bag of disgust, heartbreak, and unfortunately, acceptance. In one question, they answered that they claim to be attracted to minors while not wanting to hurt them or be in any sort of relationship as they're aromantic. In another question, it claims that maps are not the same as groomers and shouldn't be treated as such. It also advocates for maps to be accepted so they know what to do. It even admitted to looking into mother-son fan fictions as well. To no one's shock, most of its fans were devastated that an artist they looked up to was a predator, but surprisingly, there were some who didn't care, and even others who were maps as well, saying that Sarah coming out as one made them comfortable to do so as well. It gets much worse the more questions you read. There's a user on Tumblr dedicated to archiving as much stuff about Hilariously Scary as possible. I recommend visiting their account to look at more of the questions. After the initial backlash it received, it doubled down, stating that there isn't an issue with it and that you cannot change your attraction. It then walked it all back in the next apology and said they were manic when they made those posts. After looking through all the questions, I don't really believe that. In one of the questions, it talks about a story about how they were at church and that a kid walked up and hugged its leg. The kid's father knew it was a minor attracted person, which caused it to be scared. Sarah claims that the father knew it wouldn't hurt his kid, so he didn't mind. Not only that, it made a song called Werewolf, where in the lyrics it indirectly talked about being a minor attracted person. After receiving backlash from most of its fan base, it decided to remove all of its content except for one video, a song called To Build a Fire. Its Twitter account is also privated. There is one more thing I want to go over, but it's merely a speculation. On its second channel, there's a video going over one of its sketchbooks. On the second to last page, it seems to say something, although I can't really make out what it's saying. To me, it kind of looks like it's saying, I don't like dating the people I've been dating, I'm starting to think I can't do this, but that's just my guess. And once again, this can be completely unrelated to it being a map, I just thought it was interesting. I'm genuinely surprised that PDF would out themselves so easily, more so out themselves in general. Sorry Sarah, no matter how much you want to be, you're not like us. Happy Like a Wall created her channel on June 25th, 2017. She makes incredibly suggestive animations of her OC, who's supposed to be a humanoid shaped gummy. This anatomical appreciation, to put it best, has garnered her 325,000 subscribers. She also has a Twitter where she posts art and cosplays. Seems to be your average wholesome art creator, right? Well, on February 25th of this year, she made a 6-minute video called What's Up with Kids Online Nowadays, where she talks about how a 15-year-old artist named BumbleArt is copying her and her friend Unknown Spy's art. She goes on to talk about how he raided her Discord server once and has a not safe for work one of his own. Now, this situation mainly involves Unknown Spy, but a YouTuber named Streamline Workshop has a really great video covering everything. But I want to delve more into Happy's involvement. I will save you 6 minutes and 43 seconds and tell you the video is bad. They just make fun of the kid's art while making up a bunch of things that aren't true. For example, Drunkle claims that Bumble is seen instigating stuff, and his proof of that is a screenshot of Bumble telling Unknown Spy to leave him alone. This wouldn't be instigation since something would have to occur for Bumble to make that post. That thing being Unknown Spy releasing an almost 100-page document showing examples of how over the past year Bumble has been copying her art. If you didn't realize, Unknown Spy just admitted to stalking Bumble's account. Need I remind you, Bumble is 15 years old. Unknown Spy is almost 30. Not only that, her account is insurmountably large compared to Bumble. Moving back on track, Drunkle states that Bumble sent a raid to Happy's server with a cropped out screenshot as his only piece of evidence. And in said screenshot shows Noi not being the head of the operation, but rather a participant. Not only that, you don't show any hardcore evidence of there actually being a raid. Now, you could say that screenshot was from the raid, but that's still left up to speculation. There isn't any undeniable proof that the raid actually happened. Next, he states that Bumble repeatedly brings up Unknown Spy while she stays silent, but the screenshots he provides aren't even Noi. They're of other people talking about Unknown Spy. He then says that Unknown Spy reached out to Bumble about the situation and shows screenshots of Bumble defending himself, saying that he didn't copy her art. I'm not sure what the point here was, but it shouldn't matter that a 15-year-old is copying some popular artist's art. Many artists copy each other all the time. In fact, A huge meme in Happy Like a Wall's community is that she's a knockoff Jaden Animations. Even if he was copying her art, it's not out of malicious intent. He obviously has found a liking to it and wants to express it in his own art. If he merely took your art and claimed it as his own, then that would be another story. As far as the Not Safe for Work Discord goes, it's not good, but he's a kid, and kids make bad decisions. I'm not excusing the behavior, but I'm not surprised that a 15-year-old would do something like this. I find it funny that they'll criticize him for that, as in the same video, Drunkle admits that Happy sent scat art while pinging everybody in the server. If the entire server was 18 plus, then that would be one thing, but only certain channels were. Happy likes to state that her content is strictly for an adult audience. However, a channel called I Can't Solve Myself made a video showing how she made a suggestive animation with 16 plus in the title while promoting her server as 18 plus in the description, only removing it 3 months later. Now earlier I told you to keep Drunkle in your mind for later, in which it turns out he seems to be an egotistical simp for Happy. A channel called Marty Party made a video about his interaction with him. Marty argues with him about the fairness of the rules and how it's weird that there's a drawing of Happy exposing her armpits as soon as you go into the server. After some back and forth, Drunkle says something you would expect a Discord mod to say, which causes Marty to drop an incredibly funny insult. He then brags to Marty about how Happy gives him so much attention. Now you could think that he's merely joking, but Marty also shows that in Drunkle's bio he states that he's Happy's Discord admin. Marty's video also exposes the unfairness of the rules in Happy's server, so I'd advise checking that out as well. From all of this, it shows that all of the adults involved, more specifically Happy, are at fault. She seems to believe that making a blanket shield restriction on a site that hosts a ton of kids will devoid her of criticism. You don't want your content to be exposed to minors, yet you show it to them for monetary gain. It's hypocritical to shame kids for making dumb decisions while giving them the access to do so. It is up to you, the adult, to prevent that from happening. At the end of her video, she says something incredibly silly.
It's always about protecting the children, and of course I do agree, but who's gonna protect the adults?
I'm sorry, but if you're an adult that needs protection, then it's probably best you don't have an online platform. Miss ZZ created her channel on October 23rd, 2016. She's an art commentary creator discussing various topics from digital media to drama, usually with art progress in the background. At one point, a channel by the name of Speed made a video calling out a channel named Quick Sauce for tracing her art and using it in one of their videos. She then caught wind of this and made a video herself calling out Quick Sauce. In it, she said that she was made aware of this because of Speed's video. Apparently, the way she worded the part mentioning Speed led people to believe that he was the one tracing her art, which then caused him to be harassed. Following this, he DM'd her asking to remove any mentioning of him to stop the harassment, as he already got a copyright strike from Quick Sauce. I would like to state that the amount of harassment he received is unknown. ZZ initially ignored this, stating that she has social anxiety and doesn't like to be DM'd by strangers. Speed then makes another video with ZZ featured in the thumbnail and title, where he talks about how he supports artists and expresses his frustration that ZZ only mentions him and not Quick Sauce. ZZ responds saying she only mentions him since he's the person she got the information from. She then made a pinned comment on her video apologizing for the poor wording and stated that he is not the art thief. He responds to her pinned comment insisting she edits him out. She says she can't as it would ruin the structure of the video. They bicker a little more, where he claims the copyright strike was her fault even though it was Quick Sauce who struck him. Speed then says he's going to try and file a privacy claim on her video. ZZ, not wanting to deal with this anymore, eventually edits him out. Keep in mind he would be falsely claiming her video since it doesn't break TOS, she just cited her source. They eventually have another conversation in DMs after she edited him out, where he says he took the video mentioning her down and that he was only reaching out to her for help, and said that all of this was due to people being stupid online. ZZ in response was dismissive. After all of this, Speed makes a video calling out Quick Sauce for striking his channel. In this video he mentions ZZ, which is weird since this situation has nothing to do with her. He begins to talk about how she spread misinformation that led to him getting harassed and that she was hard to work with. He also makes a false claim saying that she encourages false claiming when she never said that at all. There's a possibility he came to this conclusion due to her saying at the end of her Quick Sauce video that art should be protected, but that's up to speculation. He then DMs her once more, telling her to watch what she says, threatening to sue her for defamation if the copyright dispute with Quick Sauce goes to court. He only gained the confidence to do this since a bunch of random people said he could. I'm not sure who the random people are, but they're wrong. You can't file a privacy claim just because somebody mentions you. It's already a big hypocrisy in of itself, since at the time, Speed was a commentary channel covering various dramas. Using his logic, the people he talked about could file a privacy claim on his videos. Later in the month, Speed republicizes the video he took down about calling out Quicksus for tracing ZZ's art. He leaves a pinned comment in that video stating ZZ is badmouthing him on Twitter, saying he threatened to sue her if she didn't edit him out, and that he relisted the video so everybody knows the truth. Keep in mind, the badmouthing was her expressing her frustration about how he tried to pass off this situation as a small misunderstanding. There isn't much to this situation after that. As of now, both of them seem to have went their separate ways, even though Speed lost 7,000 subs and changed his name to Big Coomer, uploading what seems to be small lewd meme videos. His main channel as well as his second one have been inactive for the past 2 years. Meanwhile, ZZ seem to have moved on just fine from this. The art community is very interesting. As great as their art can be, there's always something that gets them to negatively act out. And while I can't say this about every artist, I'm inclined to believe there are a lot more out there than one would like to admit that are like this.